Hello humans, welcome to my world of stuff. My name is... if you're interested in the content on this channel, you need to like and subscribe. You need to press that there button, there, that says subscribe. Press like, leave a comment, which would be really nice. Creeping towards the magical 100 subscribers would be very nice to get up to that figure. So why not subscribe? Tell your friends if you're interested in this sort of content. I think that's what they say. Right, today I'm talking about episode 2 of Loki, the latest Disney Plus live action Marvel Cinematic Universe spin-off series, which arrives every Wednesday on Disney Plus. We had the first episode, The Glorious Path, which appeared last Wednesday, and the second episode, The Variant, dropped Wednesday just gone, the 16th of June. I watched it twice. I watched it first thing in the morning, as I had to write a review of it for a Starburst magazine. It's now online if you want to have a look at that review. Busy all day on Wednesday for various reasons, so I didn't get around to writing the review. Watched it again Thursday to get my head around it, and I think it is a show that benefits two watches because it's not a straightforward adventure series by any stretch of the imagination. It's certainly not a formulaic Marvel series, because I have to say I don't necessarily find the series formulaic, but it's very much Marvel doing what these TV series I think are designed to do. As I think I may have said in the previous episode, there was a review of this episode somewhere along there, first episode, if you haven't seen it. I think these shows are quite useful at stretching the boundaries of what Marvel does in a narrative sense, where we had WandaVision creating this alternative reality that Wanda created. Then we had Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was a traditional Marvel adventure dealing with some contemporary issues. This is very much Marvel digging deep into wild fantasy concepts and time travel, and quite esoteric and quite thought-provoking concepts at times, particularly in the second episode. In episode 2, I remember from the previous episode, Loki, in the flashback to the end of the Avengers, circa via Endgame, found himself hurtling through a wormhole where he was collected by the Time Variance Authority as an anomaly, as a variant, and he was enlisted by Mobius K. Mobius, played by the very laid-back Owen Wilson, to help them track down a killer who is disrupting the sacred timeline. And that killer, as we discover, is Loki, in various variants that have splintered off into different timelines. This episode follows on from that with a flashback sequence set in Wisconsin in 1985 in a historical reenactment pageant where a mysterious hooded figure causes chaos amongst a group of variants Minutemen who are there to track that character. Loki and a group of other TVA operatives, including Mobius, travel back, and Loki hatches the first of his plans. Now, it's interesting that in the first episode, Loki was on the back foot. He didn't really know what was going on, didn't know where he was, didn't understand about the TVA, felt he was a bit above it, but then realised that I think he had to sort of subvert it a little bit by appearing compliant. But in the best Loki tradition, he's scheming and planning ways to sort of completely subvert and undermine the whole thing. Here he does that. He wants to try and meet the mysterious timekeepers, who are these strange background figures that we haven't seen yet, who apparently hold responsible for the TVA and keeping the timelines in order. And on the pretense, on hoping to get a meeting with them, he pulls a little ruse on the Minutemen, which doesn't go down very well. And Mobius is forced to sort of beg for Loki to be given another chance to make himself of use to the TVA, because the authorities there think that he's a bit of a waste of time. Loki does some research, finds out that these time variants who haven't been detected because they're hiding in moments of apocalypse across time, where the timeline is disrupted by some apocalyptic event. For example, the explosion of Pompeii in AD 79, which Mobius and Loki travel back to. He discovers that the Loki variants are hiding in moments of apocalypse where they won't be detected. Having come up with that plan, they track down. Towards the end of the episode, they track down another variant in a future apocalyptic event, or future to us in 2050, where events take a surprising turn, and again completely subverts what we think the series is going to be, because we think that episode 2 is very much a sort of a police procedural type thing, with Loki doing sort of research in the TVA files and forming this sort of buddy up relationship with Owen Wilson's character. And that's an interesting idea, to do a Marvel series in that format. But then the end of the second episode surprises us all by doing something completely different, and introduces a version of Loki that we should have seen coming, but we probably didn't really. And it sets things off what could be an interesting third episode and beyond. Now, I'll be quite honest about this. I'm enjoying Loki, I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. Now, I absolutely fell in love with WandaVision from the off, and I think that Falcon and Winter Soldier is a lot better than it's given credit for. I mean, clearly Loki is a cleverer piece of writing than Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's dealing with obscure concepts like WandaVision did. And I don't know if it's because Loki is in theory a villain. I don't know if it's because the story is, this mix of sort of hitchhikers and Brazil type humour is very, very new for Marvel, whether I'm finding it hard to get my head around it. Possibly it's also because Loki, in an attempt to make him more likeable rather than as a black-hatted villain, they made him a little wacky. And I agree with a friend of mine who said he was a bit concerned in the first episode because Loki was coming across a bit Matt Smith-like in Doctor Who. And I got that a lot in certain scenes in episode 2, particularly where he's excitedly trying to explain to Mobius his theory, his apocalyptic theory about where the variants are hiding. That sort of manic energy, which is, interesting to watch, and it's obviously a terrific performance, and there's a great chemistry between these two. But it's hard to sort of reconcile that with the image of Loki as the god of mischief, this sort of Norse figure, mythological figure, who's behaving in this peculiar, hyperactive fashion. But I'm enjoying the series. I've yet to take it to my heart the way that a lot of critics have. A lot of critics have gone nuts for it and think it's wonderful, a masterpiece. I think it's very good. Marvel will always deliver the goods. I wouldn't miss it for the world, but it hasn't clicked with me. It hasn't connected with me. I'm not excited about it yet, but I'm enjoying it very much. But I think it's probably got a few cards still up its sleeve to play. It's clearly a show that wants to keep the audience on its toes and make you think it's one thing and then go off and do something completely different. So I don't think we've yet seen what Loki is. But what it is at this stage, 2 episodes in, is hugely enjoyable, brilliantly made. I want to send a special a special commendation for the music by Natalie Holt, which is just stunning, and you'll have heard the title sequence at the beginning of this video, which to me is, it puts in musical form the concept of time travel with that ticking clock and that sort of slightly discordant, angular piece of a tune. I think it speaks time travel. So there's so much to recommend in this series, but something in it hasn't quite sort of got its hooks into me yet. I'm sure it will. Marvel rarely missed the mark for me, but I think because this is so different, and I say they're doing something very different with a character that we've sort of, the boo hiss baddie that we've had in the past, and it takes time to make him somebody that you root for, because he is traditionally a bad guy. But it's clearly quality television. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where it goes, and I'm hoping that another episode or so it'll suddenly be sort of that light bulb moment, like that, where it all comes together. I'm sure it will, but it's just it is a show that you need to watch a couple of times to really get it, because there's so much being thrown at the screen. The dialogue is dense and lots of ideas thrown at you, and you need to sort of watch it twice to take it all in. And I think of the 3 shows we've had so far, I was thinking this the other day, I haven't yet rewatched WandaVision, I haven't rewatched Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I haven't felt the need to. I felt that the stories were there and they're in my head and I know how good they were. Maybe it's too soon, but Loki is one that I've already had to rewatch, because I think you need to rewatch it. So as of now, as of episode 2, I'm sticking with the 8 out of 10 that I gave the first episode, because I think there's more to come, and I think that it will suddenly all click together and I'll appreciate the genius of it properly. At the moment, they were hugely entertaining, hugely enjoyable. Not quite there for me yet, but it's a quality piece of television. Right, that's Loki episode 2. I'll do a bit on Loki episode 3 next week, no doubt. Coming up this weekend is a cinema vlog. I shall be trotting off to my local View cinema to see The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which is the sequel to 2017's The Hitman's Bodyguard, which I've not yet seen. So I'm hoping to watch that one tonight or tomorrow night in preparation for a cinema trip on Sunday, and I will do a little out and about vlog to record my thoughts on that one. So that's me done for now. As I've said, like and subscribe. Press that there button. Press it. Go on, press it. Leave a comment. And until we meet next time, keep checking the stuff.